Alrighty, guys, we'll get kicked off this morning. Really want to thank you all for one boot camp this morning. Really, really good session. We are recording this as well. This is a really important seminar that we're running this morning. Myself and Eli in particular, put a lot of effort to make sure that we can give you as much information as possible, crammed into that sort of hour and a half, where we're not overlooking things or going into too much detail, but it covers everything you need to know to get the ball rolling. For us over the next 6 weeks, we're here to help you as much as we can. Got someone super important to introduce you today. This is Jared. Jared's going to be taking you through the seminar this morning. I'll let him introduce himself, his credentials, and what he does in a second. Something this morning, we are all on a little bit of a different journey. Some of us might be 50 years old, some of us might be 20 years old. If we can, where possible, just make sure it's not about me, and more about the greater community that we've got, that'd be really appreciated. We can then dive into smaller topics after. If I'm focused just on weight loss and I've got someone beside me going through the back end of menopause, probably on a little bit of a different journey, and if we're diving into that, we're going to eat up a hell of a lot of time. This is for you guys. Please, in saying that, ask as many questions as we can, get involved, take notes, write notes, take photos. Again, it is all recorded, but this is for you guys. Really appreciate you guys coming along this morning. Before Jared goes into a little bit about himself and what he does, a really big important part of this challenge is we're going to give away quite a bit of cash. You can all have a look under your seats. We have got $50 stuck under one person's seat this morning. You can have a look under your seats this morning. We've got $50 to give away. I'm being serious. I'm not. There's $50 under someone's seat. Have a look. I promise. I'm 100% being serious. People don't think we're being serious. Who's not checking? Hey! Guys, throughout the day, there are going to be a little bit questions, open topics. We'll talk about food and some other things as well. Please don't sit there with your hand down. Who cares if you get a question wrong? This is about us understanding and learning. If I sit back, keep my hand down, don't say anything, we're all going to be doing the exact same thing. Put your hand up, get a question wrong, cool. That's how we learn. That's how we learn what to do and what not to do throughout this. Thank you very much, Jared. This one's yours. I'm going to pin you on first. Sorry, brother.
Perfect. So adding to that, the only silly question is the one that you don't ask. All right. So nothing is silly. Cool. So adding on to what he said as well, I'm going to have all of this in a Google Drive. It's going to have a bunch of recipe books as well for you guys, and also like a base diet of 1,700 calories and 2,300 calories for the males. So you guys will get that at the end anyway. So myself, Coach Jared. Coach Jared Lewis on Instagram. I've been PTing for 15 years. I've done biomechanics, sports nutrition, endocrinology, and a bunch of other crap. So I moved here about 18 months ago, became a firefighter with Eli. We went through the same course, that's how we met. And we just got along really well. So I'm here to help you guys today. We're going to talk about the simple truth about fat loss and what actually works. This is non-bullshit. All right? I'm not going to go too in depth. I'm just going to tell you what actually works and how it works. Cool. So honest question. Have any of you tried, put your hand up, to lose weight before and then you've gained it back? Anyone? Yep. A lot of people. All right, cool. So we're not going to talk about restrictive dieting or foods that you can't have. There's no bad food. It's only the amount of food that you actually eat that is bad. And most people go into a diet, they cut foods out that they actually enjoy, and then they end up eating those foods afterwards and they gain all their weight back. So we're pretty much just going to talk about what's actually going to work. Cool, so just quickly, this is the best study that they've ever done on dieting. They can't do the study anymore because they actually locked people into like a concentration camp. This was done after World War II to see the effects of extreme dieting. When they put these people into this study, they put them into a massive calorie deficit and every single person lost weight. All right. As they reduced their calories more, they had weight loss, and then they got food obsessed. Then their metabolism crashed, and then afterwards, when they went back to normal life, they regained pretty much all their weight and more. So that's kind of what we're going to talk about today, how fat loss actually works and what happens if you crash diet and why most people regain their weight. So this study, they could not have extra food. They were literally locked in a camp for like 3 months. What they can't do now is actually do that study. So the studies that are done now on mainly fat loss, it's, they come in once a week and they check in. But most people lie and they overeat, or they under-report what they're actually eating. So they think they're in a calorie deficit, but they're not. So this is the one rule of fat loss that cannot be changed. It is a physical law of biochemistry and physics. So calories in versus calories out. All right, so if we talk about that, I like to think of it like a bank. All right, you're depositing money into your bank account. You've got money coming in. So let's say calories is your money. So you've got calories coming in. And then you've got your weight. So if your calories coming in is more than what you're spending, like if your money's coming in more than what you're spending, you're going to save money. So then your weight's going to come up because your weight is your savings. So if this is more, your weight's going to go up. But if we're putting calories in, but we're spending more money than what we're spending more money than what we have, then our weight's going to go down. And you want to think of this like energy. So we've got energy coming in, and if you're expending more energy than what you've coming in, your body's going to take away from your savings, which is your body fat. All right, and that is an unchangeable law of thermodynamics. You cannot change that, no matter if you're going through menopause, you've got endo, you've got PCOS, anything. You cannot change this law. It just means that you need to be eating less food. Cool. So this is how your body actually burns calories. So this is your metabolism, which is called your TDEE. So if we look at this as your TDEE, this is your BMR. All right, this is what we call your coma calories. This is how much calories your body's going to burn not doing anything. This is just metabolic processes, and this is based upon like your height, your weight, your muscle mass, and all that. If you've got more muscle mass, this is going to be higher. If you've got less muscle mass, it's going to be lower. So this is your coma calories. All right, and then we've got your NEAT. This is where metabolic adaptation happens. Has anyone heard of like how someone starts eating more food and suddenly they lose weight? Have you heard that before? This is generally from NEAT. So if you crash diet, what's going to happen is your body's going to subconsciously stop moving, whether that be fidgeting, talking with your hands, anything like that. Like if you look at someone when they're doing work, they might be just, bumping their leg up and down. This is your NEAT. So this is non-exercise activity thermogenesis. This is all the calories you burn, kind of just doing your everyday stuff. All right. This is where most metabolic adaptation happens, and why you're going to have to reduce your calories again after you initially reduce them. Then you have your TEF. This is your thermic effective food. Every time you consume food, it burns calories when you eat it. Protein has the highest thermic effective food. So again, if you were, eating 1,400 calories, suddenly you start eating 1,800 calories, and you suddenly start losing more body fat. It's not magic. It's just that this has increased and you're eating more food. So obviously your body's going to be burning more calories to process that extra food. And then you've got your EAT. So this is your exercise activity thermogenesis. And this only this is only about 5% of your total metabolism. This is about 10%, and this is about 15%, and this is about 70%. So the exercise that you just did in your class is only that. A lot of people think they can out-train a bad diet. You can't, because you're only burning 5% through your actual exercise per day. Everything else comes from this. So if we build more muscle, this is going to increase. If we start to walk more, track our steps, fidget more, talk more, this is going to increase. And thermic effective food, when we eat a higher protein diet, that's going to increase. So if you got your head around that, that's the basic of our metabolism. That's what it's made up of. Cool. So calculating your own numbers. So we have our maintenance calories. That's how much we need to eat to maintain our current body weight. So this is an easy way to kind of very basic way to calculate it. The best way to calculate it is just to go online And if you want to write this down, go online and search a TDEE calculator. All right, so TDEE calculator. I'll write it down on the board. So if you just search a TDEE calculator, that is going to be the easiest way to calculate your calories that you need right now, being at the maintenance calories. It's going to do your height, your weight, your age, maybe like how much movement you actually do as well, but that's going to give you a basics of that. And then we create our deficit. So I like to put people in about a 300 to 500 calorie deficit. When we talk about 1 kilo of fat, 1 kilo of fat is about 7,500 calories. Okay, so if we go on a 500 calorie deficit, that's 3,500 per week. That's going to hopefully lose about half a kilo a week. If you're a bigger guy or a bigger woman, like really big, you probably could go into 1,000 calories. But if your maintenance calories is 2,000 because you're only a 60 kilo female, going into 1,000 calorie deficit is probably going to be a bit too much. You're going to be eating next to nothing. So that's sustainable. 70 kilo woman, that's her maintenance calories. Take 500. She's going to be on about 1,800 calories per day. So there's the calculation for 1 kilo body fat, 500 calorie deficit, 0.5 kilos of fat loss per week. So it's about 2 kilos monthly, 6 kilos in 3 months, 12 kilos in 6 months. So that is just an average, right? Some people are going to burn more than that. Some people aren't. But that's how to calculate that. So 1,200 calorie diet is what most, I guess, influencers like Michelle Bridges, 1,200 calorie diet. Kayla Etseen's 1,200 calorie diet. If you're a 70 kilo woman and your maintenance calories is 2,310, 1,200 calories is like 1,100 calories less than what you should be eating. So what's going to happen when she crash diets like that? Well, she's going to lose muscle. So it's going to bring down her BMR. She's going to get metabolic adaptation. So she's subconsciously going to stop moving. And I've done a lot of bodybuilding comps. I've competed about 17 times. I've won an Australian title, multiple other titles. And when you get down to that really low calorie, you don't realize you're not moving anymore. My clients would tell me I'd stop talking with my hands. I'd talk slower. I even stopped blinking. I stopped moving. Every movement makes it so much harder to lose calories. So that happens. We're eating less food. So then that's going to come down as well. And then your exercise actually gets harder. You stop training as hard. So that comes down too. So suddenly we wouldn't have got metabolic adaptation if we went to like 1,800 calories. We still would have lost a good amount of fat. But as soon as we go to 1,200 calories, this all just crashes. And that's where people start binge eating. And then that's a whole other can of worms I'll get into. Cool. So protein is your secret weapon for fat loss. Why? I just said it before. Anyone remember? Why does protein burn more calories? Anyone? Yes. So protein is got the highest thermic effect of food, followed by carbohydrate, then followed by fat. So if your protein is higher, you're going to be burning more calories per day without even doing anything extra. So protein is the most important for satiety, is the most filling, for muscle preservation. So if we're losing muscle, that's going to go down. Thermic effect of food, and just metabolic support. So protein is the first thing we calculate when we're calculating our calories and how much we need to eat. So most people struggle to get protein in. 140 grams of protein is quite a lot, but not when you just look at it like that. Like it's literally 3 egg omelet with a piece of toast, Greek yogurt, chicken wrap, 120 grams of chicken, that's raw. So that's like 90 grams of chicken cooked. Afternoon snack, maybe a protein shake, maybe after training, and then you go home and have dinner and have another 150 grams of chicken raw, which is about 120 grams. It's not that much. That's about that much chicken. So people struggle to get this in, but it's really not that hard, and there's really no excuse not to get protein in, because you could just have another protein shake there. So it's 3 meals a day with 2 protein shakes. It's not hard to get in. So carbohydrates. There's been, over the years, low fat foods, low carb foods, all that stuff. But the diet industry for years has demonized pretty much carbohydrate mainly. People think carbs store fat. No, your body doesn't want to convert carbohydrate to fat. It wants to store fat as fat. So carbohydrate is our main energy source when we're training, especially, what did you guys do this morning? Was it like a HIIT class or was it weights? It was a HIIT class. So carbohydrates is your fuel for that training session. So I won't get into it too deep. Pretty much carbs convert to glucose, then they convert to glycogen in your body. Glycogen is used for like the creatine phosphate system. Pretty much what you guys did this morning is going to only use carbohydrates. If you went out for a nice walk this afternoon, it was like a nice slow pace walk, your heart rate's not getting up, your body's going to burn more fat for fuel, but carbs are the most important. All right. You still need fats for other stuff. So hormone production and balance. So we need to kind of have a set amount of fat, because as soon as we have too low fat, especially for us males, our testosterone will plummet. If that plummets, we lose muscle. BMR goes down. Your exercise is going to suck because your testosterone is low. And for you females, the same thing. If you go too low in fat, your menstrual cycle is going to stop, and you could suffer from something called REDS, which is pretty much when your period stops completely. All right, so it's pretty much from low calories, but also if you went low calories with slightly higher fat, it's probably going to last maybe, it's still going to happen, but it's not as probably slow, not as fast, sorry. So fats is for all that. Fats is also anti-inflammatory depending on the fats that you're having. So if you're having like trans fats from fast food and stuff, that's going to be an inflammatory food. But if you're having like omega-3s and omega-6s and that sort of fat, then that's going to be reducing inflammation. So we need both, all right? And we need a specific amount of both. So I'll get into that in a second. Cool. 80-20 rule. This is how we stay sane. This is how it's going to be sustainable. So like I was talking about before, I like to keep, foods that I actually enjoy that I like to eat in my diet. Even when I was dieting for a bodybuilding comp, getting down to like 3% body fat, I still had a Mars bar every day because I like Mars bars and they taste good. And it kept like my chocolate craving out. And I would freeze that sucker and I'd eat it for about half an hour. I'd just be suckling it because I was really hungry. So we can do things like that, but we want to be keeping something in our diet that we actually like. This could be anything. I've got clients that have potato chips in their diet. I've got clients that have popcorn, just anything that's going to satisfy your craving. If you're a sweet tooth, have something sweet in your diet. If you're a savory, then maybe something like salted popcorn or anything else that you like, keep it in your diet. Just add it into your calories. This is going to stop us from binge eating. So the biggest thing with dieting is most people end up binge eating. And I'm going to go through that and explain how that's going to affect you a bit later. But as long as you guys know that like a chocolate bar, about 400 calories with a glass of wine. I don't drink alcohol, but that's what came up when I did this. 2 slices of pizza, some ice cream. Like right now, my partner's having a paddle pop every day. Paddle pop's 80 calories. It's next to nothing. It's a good serving size. Most people aren't going to go get another paddle pop. If you had a tub of ice cream, you're probably going to get another serve. Or if you're weighing it, you might just put a little bit extra in there. But something like that is going to keep you on track. Chips, maybe a beer. I prefer to cut out alcohol completely. I know not everyone's going to do it, but just over consuming something is not going to be good for you in the long run anyway. And like a cake or something like that. So I have clients that have these little like little brownie things that are like 200 calories. They're on a 2,000 calorie diet. That's only 10% of their calories. So something like that with something else per day keeps them sane. Cool, now it's your turn. So you guys all have a sheet in front of you. No, not the gold one. Yep. Cool. What's that? Yep, perfect. Cool, so I want you to put your name, your date, your calorie target on top. So if you guys don't have your phone on you to look up a TDE calculator right now, I want you to use this one right here. So women, body weight in kilos times 30 or 35 Men, body weight in kilos times 35 to 40. You could try to calculate that now. If you don't have a calculator, maybe use the person's next to you. It'll only take about a minute. Sweet. So then we work out our protein intake. So a really basic one, anywhere from 1.8 to 2.2 grams of protein per kilo body weight. On this sheet, daily protein intake, we have 2. So you're going to do your current body weight times 2 is going to be your protein intake. So let's do your body weight times 2 right now. Write that one down. So if I was to do it, I'm 100. 100 times 2 equals 200 grams protein per day. Yep, everyone got their protein? Cool. Now we do our fat. So our fat is important, obviously hormones, stuff like that. So you're going to do your body weight times 0.8, sorry. So body weight times 0.8. So for me, 100 times 0.8 will equal 80 grams of fat. Cool. Then we're going to do our carbs. So carbohydrate is just going to be the leftover calories, but we're going to leave that until we do the next 2 calculations. So now you've got your protein intake. Now what we want to do, where it says protein, daily protein grams times 4 calories, so like the 5th line down, this is going to work out how much calories we had. So I've got 200. I'm going to times that by 4. That's going to equal 400 cows. All right, so where you put your protein, what it equaled out as, you're going to times that by 4. Write that down. Anyone confused? That's the calories from your protein. So the amount that your protein was times 4. Yep. Cool? Yep. Now we're going to work out what we just did with our fat. So what your fat came out as times 9, and write that one down. So mine was 80 times. So what your fat was times 9. All right. Oh yeah. Cool. All right. Now we're going to work out your carbohydrates. This is a hard one. So where you've got your daily calorie intake before, at the top, mine was 3,500. So 3,500. Now we need to take away that and take away that, see how much calories we have left over per day. All right. So we go 800 plus 720, take that away from there. So yep. Yep, so your fat plus your protein, add them together. So mine's going to be from your daily calorie intake from the top. Yep, you can round it up or down. Cool. Who's confused? No one? Everyone's got it? Cool. So this is the leftover after we've calculated these two, because these two are important to have that specific amount. We have leftover calories. Now we're going to divide that by 4, and it's going to get you carbohydrate. So the number of calories, the main calories that you had, you take away the additions that we just did, and then that's going to equal that. And then we divide that by 4 to get the amount of carbs that we want to eat per day. There you guys going? All good? Yeah, perfect. Cool. How you guys going? Yeah, that looks about right. Yeah, cool. All good? So your total calories, 3,800.
No.
Yeah, so 4360 was your target?
Yeah. No, that's target.
Yeah, that's the target.
4360.
Oh, yeah, no, it shouldn't be that. So you do this one, so 3860. You take away 872.
Yeah.
Then you take away 783.
Yep.
And that's going to equal something here.
Yep.
And then you then divide that by 4, and that's going to equal your carbs. So try it now. 3860, take 872. Yep, that's about right. 555. Yeah, I know. Yeah, cool. So that's the amount of that's the amount of carbohydrate that we need there. Yeah. Cool. So everyone done that? So that's how we calculate how much we need to eat of protein, carbs, and fats from our total calories, right? But remember that the total calories that we had was to maintain our current body weight. So if we were to do all that, all we need to do is go into 500 calorie deficit, like I said before. So you do all the same calculations you just did with 3,000 calories or whatever your calories came out as. So remember what we just calculated was to maintain current body weight. Pretty much what I like to do is I like to keep protein the same and then take away from the carbs and the fats, right? So we want to take away 500 calories from that, not from just our protein. So this last bit here is just you're going to write it down maybe on the back. I want you to add what your fat was, add what your carbs was, add that up together. Yeah, the calories, yep. Be a couple more minutes on this one. Fat and my carbs in total calories. Yep. Yeah, before you divided it, yeah. This is how I like to create the deficit. So you've got your calories from the fat that we made up and your calories from the carbohydrate. Add them together. This is specifically how I like to do it because it doesn't take away from your protein. Obviously, protein's important for everything. So, yep. So you've got add them together. Yep, 1,000. Yep, perfect. Cool. Everyone good with that? All right, sweet. So this is where we're going to create the deficit, and we're going to take away 500 calories from that. So when we add this up, we're going to have a number. So so this is where we're going to create the actual deficit itself. We're going to take 500 away from that. So you should have one number right now. We're going to take 500 away from that. Mine's going to be 2,200. No, it was worse. Yeah. So, the 1520 for me, that was these two added up. Yeah. All good? Still with me? Yep. Still with me? Yep. Yep. So we're going to do the fat. So the fat and carbs added together was 1,200. Take it. Yep. So then you got 1,700 left. Yep. Make it a bit easier. Do you want me to make it even easier? All right, cool. This is even easier. So we'll do it this way. That's the way I like to specifically do it. But let's make it even easier for everyone right now. All right. So we're going to do what me and Eli talked about before, which was just doing the 20% way. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, cool. So let's do it a different way. So we're going to have your total calories. As if everyone wants to flick it over so you got more room. Let's just do the deficit first. All right, so you've got your total calories at the top. Yep. We're going to go straight into the 500 calorie deficit from that. So total calories, take 500. It's going to give you a number. Let's make it a bit easier. So total calories, take 500. Yeah? Right. So I want you to do your body weight times 2 again. So body weight times 2. Just follow along with me on the back. Don't worry about what you wrote before, except for the total calories. All right, all good? So body weight times 2. Again, that's going to equal your grams of protein. All right? Cool. 0.8 times that number now. And it's going to give you what pretty much what we did before, but with a lower number. So you can do 3,000 times 0.8 for me. Yep. Total calories. Yeah, after you've made the deficit. Yep. Yeah, so total calories that we've now made up with that deficit. Yep. That number gives us the amount of fat and calories we're going to have per day, and then we're going to divide by 9 to get our fat again. Right? So 0.8 times the deficit calories, which is going to equal that number. Then we're going to divide by 9. Oh, I'm so sorry. 2 seconds. Yeah, I messed that one up. Sorry. It's 0.8 times your body weight. Sorry about that. So 0.8 times body weight. Just your original body weight. Still following along? Body weight times 2 equals that. 0.8 times body weight equals that. Everyone still following? Yep. Cool. Protein, go back to your protein, times that by 4. What we had before. Yep. Body weight. Yep. That's your fat. And we're going to times that by 9 again. All right. So it's the same as what you got before. Yep. Everyone following along with just that on your back of your sheet? Yep. All right, cool. Then we plus these two together again. So we got 800 plus 720. So that one, protein times 4, fat times 9, add them together, equals this much left over this time. Everyone still following along? Yep. Then we go to our deficit calories that we made up before. Now 3,000, take that number. All good? Following along in the back? All good? Then our last calculation, once you take the protein and the fat calories, take away from your calorie deficit calories, is here. Then we divide that by 4, and that's going to give us our carbs. Yep, the leftover calories, divide it by 4. Cool, makes sense. Everyone got it? Who doesn't have it? Cool. So then on the bottom of your sheet, you've got protein, carbohydrates, and fats in grams. I want you to write those three now. So you've got your protein, your body weight times 2 is your protein. Write what that comes out in is grams. You've got your body weight times 0.8. It came out as 80. Write that in as grams on the bottom. And then you've got what we just calculated then. The final number is your carbohydrates in total as grams. And that's your macronutrients that you need to hit per day to be able to hit your calorie deficit calories. Make sense? Oh, so just leave that one for now. Yep, so you've got your, is that the, yep. No, so I wouldn't worry about that there. It's just your protein. So if you write in your protein, yep, write it down, 120. Yeah, okay. Yep, right. Cool. So yeah, yeah. If anyone needs more help with that afterwards, they're a bit confused, stay back and I'll help you through the actual calculations, all right, to work it out. It won't take long if I'm helping each person individually. But we'll move on from that. But that's calculating our individual numbers. Yeah. Carbs. Carbs. That's my grams of carbs. Yep. Yep. Total number for the carbs. All right. So if you're a bit confused with that, stay back. I'll help you with your numbers a little bit. Yeah. Cool. So we'll calculate that if you need help afterwards, right? So practical strategies to manage hunger. Hunger is normal. You're going to feel hunger if you're in a calorie deficit. Accept it. The more you accept it, the easier it's going to be. If you try to fight it, it's just not going to happen. You're going to end up binge eating. So accept that if you're trying to lose weight, you're going to be hungry at some point. We can help. Obviously, protein is going to be the most satiating food that you can eat. So making sure you actually hit your numbers with protein. Making sure you're hydrated. A lot of people don't drink enough water. If you're hydrated, it's going to help with your hunger. Volume eating. So if we talk about foods that are high in volume, just quickly, I'll run through it very quick. Is that a high volume food? Yes? Put your hand up if it's yes. Yeah, cool. No, it's not. Very, very calorie dense. Right? So if we have food like that, it's going to make our calories a lot harder or a lot easier to hit, which is going to make us a lot hungrier. What about white potato? Very, very volumizing food. This is the most satiating food that you can eat. There's been multiple studies on this. White potato, the most satiating. And then you can even get lower calorie white potato, like Spud Light. Watermelon, good or bad? High calorie, low calorie? Put your hands up if you think it's high. Cool. Watermelon again, very, very low in calorie. This is about 1 kilo of watermelon. Watermelon has about 8 grams of carbs per 100 gram. This is about 80 calories. It's not that much calories for the amount of food that you can eat. So when we talk about all the foods, cheese, very high calorie. Pasta, kind of moderate. Butter is one that a lot of people forget to even weigh. They put butter on their toast because they did as a kid. Very, very high calorie. It's kind of like a sneaky calorie. So when we think about foods that we're going to make up our calorie deficit from, we want to make sure that they are higher in volume if we can. Increasing fiber, making sure we are having enough vegetables. And this is a big one here, sleep. So poor sleep will decrease satiety hormones, increase hunger hormones, and make you subconsciously actually eat more. Multiple studies on this again, but pretty much people that got sleep, got more sleep, 8 hours a day, consumed 270 calories less per day than the people that got 6.5 hours sleep per night. So getting less sleep actually increases hunger hormones, which is going to make you eat more, whether that be consciously or subconsciously. So sleep's important. Make sure you sleep. Sleeping all the time. I don't even think it did any work. I don't even know how he passed. But he slept anywhere. Cool. So I'll quickly go over this. If you're dieting for 6 weeks, I'd recommend not even going out and eating off plan. All right? It's 6 weeks. I'm sure you can do that. But if you do go places, check the menu beforehand. If you're going somewhere which is going to be very, very high in calorie and there's nothing good on the menu, eat beforehand. You can still go socialize with your friends, but that's what I would do. All right? Biggest thing with that, if you do go out and eat, is you know the size of your meals. If your normal meal is, a piece of chicken this big and it's got some potato and some veggies, and then you go out and get 1 kilo schnitzel, there's a bit of variation there, all right? So eat to when you feel satisfied, not until you feel overly full if you go out. Alcohol, again, if you're going to drink alcohol, 6 weeks isn't that much just to cut it for a little while. I don't drink alcohol at all, but yeah, that's just my decision. If you are going to drink, just drink some spirits. Like, don't have additives. So this is kind of hidden calories. Someone recently that I've been dieting for about 4 weeks was having a freaking frappe latte every single day from Starbucks. That one coffee was 700 calories. She's in a 500 calorie deficit. She was gaining weight. She was dieting so hard every other meal of the whole day that one coffee was actually having her gain weight. She thought she was training really hard. She thought she was dieting really hard, which she was, but one coffee was increasing her calories every single day. She didn't tell me she was having it because she thought it was a drink. Cooking in oil. Oils is a big one. People forget little drizzle of oil when you're cooking is going to increase the calories massively per meal. And this is kind of like sneaky calories that people don't really think about. Butter, another one, like I said before. Having a, it doesn't matter. I call this the it doesn't matter trap, which is having a little bit of everything all day. Like one bite of something, one cookie here and there, a couple of lollies from something. You think one thing doesn't matter, but they do when they all combine together, especially when you're only in a 500 calorie deficit. Condiments and sauces. Everything has calories. Kewpie mayo, very, very high in calories. Just ketchup in general. You can get better ones, but add them into your calories. If you know you're going to have ketchup on your potatoes at nighttime with your chicken breast, then put it into your calories when you do track. Look at it, see the serving size, and it's going to have calories in it. A lot of people have all this together, and this is the only thing stopping them from losing weight. Sneaky calories, things like coffees and sauces and stuff on their food. You don't need to cut it out, you just need to include it. And then progress over perfection. 1 week you might gain weight. You just may not have pooed that day. Like, intra-intestinal food volume will increase your weight. This could be hormones. This could depend on what part of your cycle that you're in, girls. So different parts of your cycle, you're going to have slightly more inflammation. You're going to be holding on to more fluid. So the biggest thing with this is not to be depressed when 1 week you go up by half a kilo. You didn't do anything wrong. It's normal fluctuations. As long as the start to the finish is still somehow, decreased, these little fluctuations are completely normal. I like to do kind of like more of an average. If I'm trying to lose weight, I'll weigh myself every single day for the whole week. I'll make an average out of that. Rather than just weighing myself on a Friday when I check in with my coach and then I've suddenly increased weight and then I feel like shit for the whole weekend. A lot of time that can completely unmotivate someone, and then they're going to binge on the weekend. Your weight's going to fluctuate. Don't be worried about it. Cool. So I like to create habits with everything. So you're not just in a dieting phase, you're creating a habit of healthy living. So sustainable transformation happens when you create habits that are actually going to sustain you through this phase. So eating chicken breast and broccoli and rice every single meal for the whole day, you're going to lose weight, but it's probably not the best habit to get into. Again, creating that kind of food that we actually enjoy is a good habit. Just small habits, like pack your gym bag the night before. I'm pretty sure you guys are good with training, but prepping your food is going to be the biggest thing. If you've got all your food prepped and you've already cooked it, it's already there, it's less chance you're actually going to eat something else. So get into the habit of actually prepping all your food, having it all ready. The biggest thing I see with clients is they get caught out. They get caught out and they pick something bad, like an almond croissant. I'm like, why did you pick that? Like, you could have got something else from Woolworths, way healthier. So prepping food is probably the best habit that you're going to get. Cool. So this is something I want you guys to do in your own time now. You've got a goal sheet here. This might take up just a little bit too much time, but you want a powerful why. So with your 2 goals, you've got a goal. Most of it's going to be weight loss, right? When you choose a goal, let's say I wanted to lose 5 kilos. If I just write, I want to lose 5 kilos, you might get there, but it's not going to be very powerful of why you want to lose 5 kilos. I want you to write down in your own time on that second one, why you actually want to do that. So for me, I was the same height when I was 19 years old, but I was 58 kilos. I got picked on in high school. My biggest why to why I train every day and why I don't drink alcohol, why I've meal prepped for the last 17 years is because I don't want to be that skinny kid anymore. That's a really powerful why to me because that's personal. So when you choose why you want to do something, don't just have it as, I want to lose 5 kilos. I want to lose 5 kilos, why? Or I want to lose 10 kilos, why? I want to build more muscle, why? It could be anything. You guys all have kids. It could just be you want to be a better role model for your kids. You don't want your kid, they're going to be watching your habits and they're going to grow up with your habits. So it could be any reason at all, but make sure you have a powerful why, and that's going to get you to actually stick to your goals. Cool, this is a big question that I get all the time. Meal timing, doesn't matter. Does it matter when I eat? Does that matter how many meals I actually have per day? No, all that matters is that. You could have that in one sitting per day. This is why I guess like fasting and stuff, people think fasting is going to lose more weight. It doesn't. It just brings you into that a lot easier because you actually don't eat for half the day. So meal timing doesn't really matter. Like 3 meals a day, fine. 6 smaller meals, if you're a snacker, that might be better for you. Fasting, good if you enjoy it. It's not important. Skipping breakfast. To be honest, if you train in the afternoon, you might want to skip breakfast. I have clients that skip breakfast because they don't want to eat. They go straight to work, they train in the afternoon, they leave their food for the afternoon so that they have energy around that. And that helps them. They can deal with hunger easier. When we talked about hunger before, you're going to be hungry. They can deal with hunger in the morning easier than what they can in the afternoon. I'm the same. When I go into really big calorie deficit, I wait 3 to 4 hours in the morning until I have my first meal because I train later in the day as well. So it doesn't matter when you eat, it just matters the amount you eat. Yeah? Cool. A lot of people get confused with that, thinking fasting and all sorts of stuff like that is more beneficial, or having more meals per day speeds up your metabolism. It doesn't. So exercise, obviously important. If we look back at this, weight training is going to keep your BMR up. It's going to keep your muscle mass. It's going to keep your calories up. Obviously, exercising here as well. But exercising along with training, perfect. So you guys don't really need to talk on training because I know these guys train you hard anyway. But keep up your training, keep up your walking. Cool. So like I said before, weekly average with your weight, because you're going to have different amounts of weight fluctuation per day. Cool. Intermittent fasting. Like I said before, the total calories per day is what matters, and intermittent fasting can just put you into that calorie deficit easier because you only have a 6 to 8 hour eating window and you don't eat for the rest of the day. So there's nothing special about it. I get asked that question so much. Should you take supplements? If you like taking it, take it. Most supplements, fat burners and stuff, they don't really do anything. They give you a bit of an energy kick. If you like the energy kick, take it. but no fat burner that you probably see online is going to burn any type of fat. Especially you women, I call it the pink tax. They chuck a pink label on something, they call it a fat burner, and they say it's going to get rid of your arm fat and your stomach fat. It's not. They're just going to take $100 away from you. All right. Most important thing is food and training. If you take creatine, awesome. Whey protein can be beneficial to hit your protein targets per day. Vitamin D and omega-3 fish oils is pretty much the other two supplements that I recommend. Most people don't get enough sun because they work in an office. If you get enough sun, I wouldn't even worry about that. But omega-3 fish oil, how many people actually eat fish consistently in this room? That's actually a lot. All right, cool. But still under half. Omega-3s and omega-6 fatty acids are the most beneficial fat. All right, so if you're not taking a fish oil, I would recommend taking one unless you eat fish every other day. All right. If you have a terrible day, don't worry about it. Move on from it. If you have a bad meal, if you have a weak point, just move on from it straight away. We want to get away from that all or nothing mindset. People will have a bad day and then they'll ruin the whole week because of that one day. That's like literally spilling a bit of milk and then just pouring out the whole fucking thing of milk just because you spilled a little bit. All right, so don't worry about that. If you have something off plan because it was there in front of you, you grabbed a few cookies, cool. If you know how to track your calories on like MyFitnessPal or something, put those cookies in there and you don't derail any progress. Or just forget about it, move on to your plan, continue for the whole day. Don't let one thing derail any progress. How long will this take? It depends on how much weight you want to lose. Obviously, if we're losing 500 grams per week, it's going to take a little while, but being consistent is the biggest thing. So patience is mandatory. All right. If your weight loss stalls, we want to look and see what happened here, because this is all going to decrease. All right. So if we lose weight, your BMR is going to go down, which is going to bring down the total calories. So if you've lost 10 kilos, this is no longer your calorie deficit. This might be now your maintenance, because this is down, you're eating less food, and you might have had a little bit of metabolic adaptation happen. So this is your new maintenance. You need to recalculate your calories. This is not going to be the same calories that you're going to lose weight on if you've lost weight. So if you've lost 5 kilos, recalculate it. Yeah, because all of this is based off of our body weight. Make sense? Cool. So a lot of people get trapped in that. They think they're not losing weight anymore. It's just because they're no longer in a calorie deficit. What I would first look at before you do reduce calories is, are you actually logging everything completely? Have you been having some oil without logging it? Have you been putting butter on your toast? I would look back at your whole week from a subconscious point of view and look back and be like, did I actually stick to everything? So a lot of people get emotional with stuff. They don't want to admit they're doing something wrong, but it could be something as simple as literally when you're weighing out peanut butter to put in your oats, you're licking the spoon every time. That could be an extra 50 calories per day that you don't realize you're having. So looking back at your week and going, cool, I actually do these small things all week. Instead of reducing my calories, making it harder for myself, I'm just going to be more compliant to the diet. Yeah? Cool. I'll leave that one. Cool. So practical meal preparation strategies. Find a day that you actually have time to meal prep. I keep most of my diet basic because I freeze all my food. I cook once a week. If you are constantly trying to make all your food taste crazy overly nice and you're cooking recipes every day, it's going to be hard. The biggest thing with diet is you want it to be sustainable. What's not sustainable is cooking 2 hours a day. You're going to stop. All right. So I don't do overcomplicated meal plans. I would rather someone stick to their diet with something that's pretty, basic. Still tastes good, but basic, like stir fries, things like that you can chuck in the freezer, rather than cooking up this crazy meal that they only have in the fridge for 2 days before it goes off. So meal prepping on a specific day, every single week, make that a habit. Cool. So this is what I was talking about before, how this is what we want to do, navigating weight loss plateaus. So first of all, if your weight plateaus, we verify what we did. Are we actually sticking to the plan? All right. Outside perspective, take emotion out of it. Are we actually doing what we should be doing? We assess our effort. Are we still training hard enough? Are we actually putting in the effort that we need to lose weight? Allow a bit more time. Sometimes you're going to have a weight plateau for 2 weeks. It could be anything. Again, hormonal cycle, menstrual cycle. allow a little bit more time before you change your calorie deficit. You could do a small cut, just take a little bit of food away. At some point, maybe a diet break is going to help. If you are literally completely fatigued and you feel like crap and you've still got more weight to lose, maybe take a week off where you come back to your maintenance calories. If you eat at your maintenance calories, you get to eat more food, but you shouldn't gain weight because it's your maintenance calories. So it just gives your body a bit of time to just get some more energy back up. Your training might get better again. So that's something that you can do, 16, 20 weeks into a diet if you have a lot of weight to lose. Cool. Statistics show that 80 to 95% of people regain all their lost weight within 1 to 5 years. This happens across the board with everything. I've trained people that were on, what was that weight loss show back in the day? The Biggest Loser. I've trained 2 people that were on The Biggest Loser. They were 20 kilos heavier from when they started The Biggest Loser. And that was like years and years later. So most people gain their weight back just because they don't do what we said about the 80-20 rule, keep training, and just maintain awareness. Every time you kind of like start losing track, become aware of what you're doing again. Are you falling back into bad habits? Cool. So the most important thing from everything we went through is these are the non-negotiables. A calorie deficit. You cannot lose fat without being in a calorie deficit. And you will lose fat if you are in a calorie deficit. That is the most fundamental rule. Having enough protein obviously preserves muscle, stay satisfied. It's going to keep this a little bit higher and that higher. Make sure you have enough protein. And just consistency over perfection, like I said before. If you have one small thing off, don't let it derail your progress. Cool. And yeah, so obviously the best time to lose weight or the best time to go towards your goals was last year. Second best time is right now. All right. So when people come to me and they're like, they've been the same for 5 years and I'm trying to convince them to sign up for coaching, it's like, do you want to be in the same spot you were in 12 months ago? Like, how much progress do you want to make? Most people want to change. They just don't do it. It's uncomfortable. You're going to be hungry. Cool. So with the free resources, obviously I've got a multiple amounts of recipe books for you guys to have ideas. In these recipe books, there is going to be all your calories and protein and stuff in there. So if I get out of this for a second, I'm just going to show you what you guys are going to get. Cool. So I'm going to give you like a basic diet plan. There's going to be like 2,300 calories and 1,700 calories. And it's got the daily total of the protein, the carbs, and fats that are on there, and a whole bunch of meal ideas. So meal 1, option 1, meal 1, option 2, meal 1, option 3. So when you're coming up with kind of a diet for yourself, this is what I like to do. So I create like a sit-down meal that I can have when I'm not busy. And then I always do a fast option if I wake up late. Smoothie, bang, takes a couple of minutes. So every time I come up with a meal, I have like a sit-down option and more of a fast option. So then you're going to have meal 2. It's like a snack. Meal 3, a couple of different options again. So this one's a chicken bagel. Again, I can eat that while I'm driving. There's no excuse not to have something like that. How many times do I have bagels at the academy? I made him lunch for like 6 weeks straight. But yeah, so you're going to get them, and also you're going to get a bunch of recipe books. In the recipe books, you're going to have the calorie breakdown per meal for every single meal that's in there. All right, there's a lot of recipe books. So I'm going to send that all to you guys as well. It's going to have the protein, carbs, and fat breakdown, the calories. If, however, you look at your total calories, 3,000 or whatever it might be for you, 1,700, you can go into that really basic and just go, cool, this meal it's got 500 calories, it's got 40 grams of protein, I'm going to have that for dinner. And you can do a real basic calculation and see, I'm going to have this, this, and this, it equals 1,700, and I get 150 grams of protein from those 3 meals. And you don't really need to track anything else. That's a really basic way just to hit your calorie target per day. Yeah, so most are 350 to 500, and then there's like snack options and stuff in there as well. So Yeah. Cool. And if you have any other questions as well, like if you had any other questions at all, you just don't understand something, I post a lot on my Instagram. There. If you have any questions about diet, nutrition, anything, just send me a message and I'm just happy to help you. If you still don't understand your macros after we go through it, send me a message today. All right. And I will send them to you, the calories and your macros. I'll send them to you. All right. I do have a video on how to use MyFitnessPal as well. That is the best way to track your calories. If you haven't used MyFitnessPal before, it's an app. There is a free version. That is going to be the 100% best way to ever track your calories. I'm going to add that video of how to use that into what I'm going to give you guys as well, actually. It's like an 8-minute video. So if you do want to download it, there'll be a video on how to use it in there. Cool? All right, cool. Perfect. That's it. You're welcome. What's that? Oh, yeah. She's asking a lot of questions. It's MVP. Most valuable player. That's right.
Recognizing how many calories are in an egg, protein in an egg, you're not going to know if you actually that makes sense. Have a bit of an idea of what foods have what calories and what proteins, but actually tracking it and seeing the numbers is going to be far more better for you to process actually what you're putting in. You can recognize it. I can tell you that there's 26 grams per 100 grams of meat of a steak. 26, perfect. If I want to be able to hit my 100 grams, I need 400 grams of that. Does that make sense? Really easy equation. I know an egg will have 13 grams. All right, so it allows me, when I'm doing my meals, I've already got that in my mind. That's just come from me tracking that over a long period of time. Does that make sense? Tracking is the most beneficial thing. Most beneficial thing. Most people. Right, we'll come back to you in a second for anything else. This is trying to be a little bit more interactive, a little bit more engaging for you guys. I'm hoping you can take something out of it. I may not execute well on it, but I'm hoping that I do. I've got an array of daily foods that we could probably eat on a daily basis throughout the week. I've got some of the substitutes in there that are high protein based as well. I'm going to, how it works is this, there's cash prizes for this. I'm going to ask, there'll be 3 foods that I'll put up. We'll break them in protein content from least to highest. The first person to put their hand up and get it correct gets the money, all right? Does that make sense? We've got 7 times for this. I will do a protein and I will do a calorie. We'll go from, and every time it's from least to highest. So least calorie content to highest calorie content. All right, I do also need to make sure that I have this here for me, the cheat sheet. All right, first one, off the bat, we will go bread. Now this is collectively, I'm not going to go on every different type of potato. This is just on average per potatoes, average per the types of butters, average per the types of breads. It's not specific to this branding. Does that make sense? All right, just across the board. All right, so we'll go bread, we will go cheese, and we will go eggs. Highest protein in order. Protein from lowest to highest. Who's first? All right, what do we got?
Okay, I'd go bread
Bread's
from lowest.
lowest.
Yeah, and then eggs highest.
Perfect. 1. There we go. All right, next one. And this just allows you to recognize this to our daily basis. Yeah, you identify what's higher, what's lower. All right, let's go with calorie-wise. Highest to lowest. Lowest to highest, sorry. Hand up. Oh, sorry, we got rice, we got butter, and we got our cheese. Highest calories. Which one's highest calories? Or lowest calories? What's the lowest calories first? Quickly, hand up. Someone gets one hand to go at it. Talk to me. You win. Perfect. Easy. All right, next one. We will roll with protein content. Cottage cheese, yogurt, and watermelon. All right, the yogurt is protein-based yogurt. I will say that. Content-wise for protein, lowest to highest. Talk to me, Bella. Cottage cheese? Unfortunately, no. So it's off by 2 grams. Talk to me. Who's next one? Ready? 3, 2, 1. Sorry. Talk to me. What do you got? Yeah, that's you. Yep. Watermelon, correct. Perfect. Easy. All right, next one. We'll go calorie dense. Density from peanut butter, eggs, and protein wraps. Calorie-wise. Talk to us. Yep. So cheese is least to highest calorie dense. Yeah. Perfect. In order. Easy. Done. Beautiful. All right. How many more we got? 3 more. Okay. We will go. Now, do you see how we can identify what foods and what macros higher in it? We can work way easier for ourselves. All right. We'll go with milk, pasta, and rice from protein, least to highest. Talk to us. So we go over it again. We got pasta, rice, and milk. Kath's up first. Talk to us, Kath. Yes, least to highest. Pardon me? In protein. Highest is the milk. Okay, so per 100 grams, very interesting. This has 4 grams of protein per 100 grams. Our rice has 5 grams. All right, now there's not much in that. Pasta. And our rice has 3 grams. All right, but you would associate dairy with more protein, definitely. But just to give you a bit of an understanding there, right? This is a full cream also. Sorry, I'll just answer the question for you. All right, we'll go next one. 3 more. Talk to me. I prefer very, very low calorie. When we're choosing foods, obviously we want to choose foods that maybe having low fat milk, better if it's going to be less calories, more calories. Okay. How hungry you are. If you're not a hungry girl, then yeah. Back on. All right, 3 more quickly. We'll get you out of here as well. So we got protein from least to highest. Okay, we've got steaks, eggs, and bread. Hands up. Let's go. Dale, talk to me. Bread, least highest. Perfect. Dale wins. Beautiful. 2 more. We will go with a protein wrap. Cottage cheese, a tough one. And our protein yogurt. So 3 types of food now that have been labeled high protein or more protein in them that we would eat on a daily basis. Okay, so rattle them off for me. Least to highest. Bella. I hate to break it to you. No. The wraps would be traditionally, but these are high protein. Talk to us. Who's next? Yes. No, sorry. Talk to us. Yes. Highest protein. Okay. No, wrong again. Quickly. Oh, nice. Perfect. You win. I'll show you these here, guys. These are amazing. All right. These are 20 grams per 100 grams. A steak has 26. Okay. That's a very... this is 20 per 100 grams. Yep. What protein are they using? No, I don't actually. But it's 5. That's a far out. Samson's. There's 5 grams of protein per wrap in here. All right, 5 grams. Just give an idea. Last one. We'll get you out of here. All right, we will go cheese, milk, and peanut butter in calories. Least to highest. Last one. Hands up. Jane, talk to us. Milk's the lowest. Check. Big Jane wins. All right.
So just on top of that, just one quick thing about it. So things will advertise being high protein, but they're not always high protein. All right. So sometimes 5 grams of protein. It's not too 5 grams of protein is not too bad for like a wrap, but you look at something else. If something's advertised as 5 grams of protein per serve, and it's one wrap, and it's $4 more than the one that's not high protein, the other one's got 4.8. Then it's a marketing scheme. All right. It's just like the pink tax. So always kind of look. So high protein pasta is not actually that much high protein than normal pasta. So always kind of look at stuff like that, or else you're just paying more for no reason. Yeah, because everyone wants to be fit.
Just two other things, guys, here. 100 grams of this butter. This is a kilo of watermelon. This still has less calories. All of that and 100 grams of butter. Does that make sense? There's a very good visual for you. Lastly,
It should be 10 grams. 10 grams of butter.
10 grams.
10 grams of butter is really a kilo of watermelon, calorie-wise.
Lastly, these are kitchen scales. You can get these from Big W, Kmart, wherever it might be. If they sit there in your microwave, you can weigh your food. You get a really good understanding of what 100 grams looks like, what 200 grams looks like. So you can eyeball them up for yourselves long term. All right. If you don't have an understanding of how big a portion size of a 100-gram piece of meat that we're trying to measure, you're sort of just guessing every time. All right. It's about $10. Really easy. Goes on there, clean it every time.
So I prefer raw, and the only reason is because it's more accurate with moisture. So if you're doing cooked meat, you might cook it in the air fryer compared to the oven, compared to the stove. You might overcook it one day. I like raw because you can also cook everything up as a big batch. Just say I'm cooking 7 stir fries up for lunch for the whole week. 7 times 100 grams of chicken. I weigh 700 grams, and then I can add my veggies and my sauce to that, all in the same wok, and then just kind of eyeball individually do it afterwards. So I know that everything in that wok now is for 7 meals. I don't need to weigh it all again, because if one day it's 90 grams, next day it's 95, next day it's 105. It doesn't really matter when we look out at the grand scheme of things for a whole week. And then that way, the worst thing is to cook all your meat up and you've done this whole meal prep, and then you're 20 grams less than what you should have had. And then you need to cook up 20 more grams of chicken just for that one meal that's now low. So raw meat and everything, it's just so much easier to prep. That's pretty much the only reason. Yeah? Any other questions?
When you leave here, think about your takeaways. Think how you can immediately implement these into your daily life, all right? Plan your meals. Do some meal plan ahead for the next week. What have you got to lose by planning your meals? You go for a week, figure out if it's going to work for you. How far advanced can you plan your meals in advance? I know for me, I want to do more than 2 or 3 more meals. If I'm thinking I'm going to eat this on Wednesday, I get to Wednesday, I actually don't want to eat it. So for me, it's about a 1 or 2 days. All right, and everyone's different. For whatever routine, lifestyle, selections, figure out what works best for you, but be on the front foot. Take action from today. Cole?
You have your meals, they have their meals. Or be a good influence on them. So yeah, like if your goals are important to you, like I've got, yeah. Oh, it's very hard. Yep. Yeah. So
Portion, I was going to say portion sizes are big. So if you don't have that luxury, mate, portion sizes and selecting the type of macronutrients in that meal that you can get more of that aren't going to put you over on your surplus of your calories. That'd be the best way to go about it. And it might be, if they are having a pasta dish or something, you might have a little small side dish that might fit within your calorie macros. Does that make sense? Yeah, there might be a little bit of give and take, but I also understand it. There's nothing better than sitting down with your family having a cooked meal together. I do get that. But just understand, if they are having bolognese with cheese and heavy fat and you're trying to lose weight, you're shooting yourself in the foot.
Depends if goals are important to you. You're going to figure out how to do it. And I had a client recently who came back to me. She's got a new boyfriend and living with his family, staying up at her house. He wants to lose a lot of weight again. He was a fast food guy, didn't go to the gym. He's now started back coaching with me. Used the recipe books. They're all eating healthier. His mum has lost 8 kilos, and he's lost 11 kilos. Just because of her healthy lifestyle now rubbing off on them. So yeah, it really depends. But
Us a message. You know, got a family dinner on Sunday. Send us a message. We can help you make those. Thank Louis a lot for today. Thank you very much. Everyone's going to have a little bit different takeaway. Some of you may be at the back end of your journey where you understand a little bit. Some of you may be all different parts. So we're here to help. Just as much as you can. Later today, maybe tomorrow, depending on when we get stuff from Louis. So we'll call it this afternoon. We'll get that, all the diets, all the recipe books, all the calories. That'll come through this afternoon. Last thing that I want to add. Anyone here put your hand up, if you go out, your car's got a flat tire, are you going to pop the other three first? Don't do that to yourself when it comes to food. We mentioned it before. Stop derailing yourself, put yourself in a hole. Add meal, one beer, one this. Have that. Back on track. Stop getting in your head about it. Everyone does it. Everyone does it. Louis, thank you very much for today. Really appreciate it.
guys. Beautiful.
Have
That's
any
right.
questions? We'll hang around quickly. Other than that, enjoy your weekend. Enjoy Saturday. Plan ahead.